And now, a next level moment from AT&T Business. Say you've sent out a gigantic shipment of pillows, and they need to be there in time for International Sleep Day. You've got AT&T 5G, so you're fully confident. But the vendor isn't responding, and International Sleep Day is tomorrow. Luckily, AT&T 5G lets you deal with any issues with ease, so the pillows will get delivered and everyone can sleep soundly, especially you. AT&T 5G requires a compatible plan and device. Coverage not available everywhere. Learn more at att.com/5G network.
Welcome to this episode of I wanted to talk about something a little different that I really haven't talked about a lot on here. And as some of you have probably seen, if you've been around here for a while, some of you have been around this community, listening in the background, opening emails, following me on Instagram, in my Facebook group, since this Awakening Woman movement began in 2019. And so since 2019, I mean, that's 6 years ago, a lot has happened in my life, in my transformation within that time. I built a very successful business helping women get out of these toxic situations. And my own evolution as well has led me more into an expansive direction around the work that I want to do and the things that I want to be talking about. Now, what I have seen, because I have worked with so many successful high-earning women, especially on a one-on-one basis, I've been able to see firsthand that successful high-earning women absolutely can get fucked over in a toxic relationship, in an abusive, narcissistic relationship. I've seen it. I have seen them, that it's not the earning of the money that is keeping them in the relationship. It's a lot of other things, but this relationship is holding them back from being at their fullest potential. Now, my take on women and money through my own evolution and years of studying, getting coaching myself, relearning my relationship with money and healing my relationship with money, and then earning a lot of money and realizing that a lot of money didn't really change me or make me super happy, or it didn't fix all my problems, and it was never enough, that I never felt good enough no matter when I was earning six figures, close to multiple six figures in 1 year. At my highest, I still felt like the same person. It was like a good feeling to get to that level, obviously, but I still wasn't happy within myself. And I thought that that was the thing that it would make me happy. And I thought that having the perfect situation or the perfect relationship or a happier relationship or not the relationship I had would be my answer to happiness. And what I've learned on the other side of that is that's actually not the truth. The happiness has to come within ourselves. And we can use a lot of different excuses for why we don't feel good enough or why we're not good enough. But what I can tell you is that being in a toxic relationship that causes you to dull your inner light, to fade, you start to age. You're not wanting to put yourself out there. It's the last thing you want to do. You feel like a fraud behind closed doors. So maybe you are a doctor or you work in the serving profession or some other high level position, and you're kicking ass in your career or business, but you feel like a fraud because behind closed doors you just finished having a huge fight with your spouse, or you've been text fighting all day in between meetings or clients, and you're frazzled and your energy is off. And then when your energy is off, then people can feel that. And so things start to not work well behind the scenes. And your self-worth is in the toilet. And so how do you really show up for yourself and ask for what you want and, require a certain level of payment or investment in people that you are wanting to work with, or your salary or the position that you're in? So I've worked with women on all levels of that, where they're wanting to write the book, publish the thing, scale their business, do something more with their business, but this toxic relationship or this cheating partner is like siphoning their power away. And so I have helped them to really get refocused and stand in that, because my take is that while women nowadays, we can out earn men, we're not in the same era as our grandmothers were, where they were dependent on men. They couldn't get a bank loan or a credit card, I think, or even a bank account without a man's signature, which is crazy, right? Like, that wasn't that long ago that was the case. And then now we're in this place where women can get massive lines of credit and mortgages and loans and all of that to improve their lives and be more financially independent, which is a great thing. So I do believe in women becoming financially stable within themselves, to look at what they're going to do with retirement, to investments, to having funds that are put aside for coaching and mentoring so they can continue to grow. That's what I do. I have a certain amount that I will spend each year for my own self-development, personal development. And then obviously that changes because some years I don't do it, but typically I do invest in some kind of mentoring. And it has been the reason, I believe, why I have had the success that I have. It was investing in transformation coaching and business mentoring. So if you're not doing that, if you have not invested in yourself to expand beyond what it is that you're living right now, it is going to be very hard to show up in power. And your energy is being leaked by the relationship. It's being leaked because you're obsessing over it and you're ruminating over it, and they create chaos. They create this destabilizing environment where it is very hard for you to think clearly and focus in, and that is intentional. Think about it. If you're success and you out-succeed them, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to realize, what am I even doing here? I don't need this, right? They want to keep you small. They want to keep you guessing yourself. They want to keep you not moving toward your actual success and shining and expanding. That's the control. That's the covert control that's happening underneath. And we can say, do they know they're doing that or not? It doesn't really matter. The fact is that that's the effect of what happens to women, to powerhouse women. And I've seen it time and time again. So what's happening is that you're outsourcing your nervous system to this man that, if you were to actually do some work around it, doesn't even meet your basic standards. I heard it said that once a woman has her own money, she has no use for a man, so he better come being able to treat her right. So if you are making your own money, but you're settling for this bullshit that you're not even being treated right, what is the point? This is what women are starting to ask themselves, especially women that I work with on the other side, where they're like, I don't want another scenario like that again. I'll stay single before I'm going to ever put myself in a position again where my life is put into chaos by a man. No, thank you. You have different standards when you come out of something like this, to be sure. When you've built yourself up to that level, you can't help but have new standards. If you just leave without doing the work, then that might not be the case, and you might settle for something else and jump into something else only to find it's just another situation of the same nature. You've got to learn, right? You've got to learn from the past and learn from the mistakes so that you don't repeat them. So you've built this career or this badass business, but the emotional chaos in the relationship is bleeding into your boundaries and your mental bandwidth and your money, your success. You can't really scale a business or move up the ladder in your career or go for the promotion or get the additional training that you need when you're walking on eggshells in your personal life and in your home. You just can't. You're going to burn out. Your health is going to come crashing down. Things will start slipping through the cracks, and your business will start to feel it, or your career will start to decline because you're not performing at the level that you need to, because you're burned the fuck out. So you're scaling, expanding, moving up in your career requires an identity evolution, because it's not about the man. It's the version of you that tolerates all this shit. That's what we need to work on. You're tolerating it. You don't see it because you're emotionally addicted to the chaos, and it's bleeding into every area of your life if you're really honest. So if your emotional life doesn't match your CEO identity or your businesswoman identity, then there's misalignment and there's this static and friction. And this friction drains on your confidence. And this impacts your money and your ability to succeed and move forward. So you can be very powerful in public and still show up and do the thing, but you're going to feel very powerless in private. So maybe you teach boundaries to your clients, but then you tiptoe at home around your own.
So, when I ask, what is Odoo? What comes to mind? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But some people also say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. I mean, whatever your business needs. Manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So, what is Odoo? Well, I guess Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it. Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
These are the misalignments, or you're the CEO, boss level at work, but the fixer at home. And then that misalignment is costing you the momentum and the drive and the inspiration to be able to keep going. So when we have success in one area and not in one major area, like, let's not get this mixed up. Your love life matters more than just about anything in your life. I don't think there's anything more that could impact your life more than your chosen life partner. They impact your nervous system, your health, your body, your mental health, and your ability to succeed, and your money. So how they come in and how they show up and how they manage money and how they lead the relationship, how they are emotionally, what are they like to deal with? Can you talk to them like an adult and have adult conversations? Do they have a mindset of growth where they're willing to learn? If you're not doing any of that, then you're becoming just like that. So you're getting smaller, you're shrinking. The way you see things and possibility is shrinking. It bleeds into your psyche and your energetic system. 100%. And so if you have one area of your life where you're feeling you're successful, but then over here at home, it's an absolute shit show, that's a misalignment. And so that will start to bleed over into other areas of your life. So maybe you are at the 6-figure level and you're wanting to move into multiple 6 or 7 figures. Maybe you have a big goal for that in your business or the line of work that you are in, but you just don't have the mental bandwidth or the self-confidence to go after that level of success. Maybe you're a coach, you're a consultant or an agency owner, or you have a leadership position, an entrepreneur, a personal brand, and you know that this relationship chaos is dragging you down. You have so much more in you, and you do have a mission, and you do have something inside of you, a purpose. You have a dharma. You have something that I am here to do this, and you've had a level of success, but it's hard to kind of move to that next level, or you're experiencing some challenges with maintaining that because of the chaos in your relationship. I just share this because, personal experience, but also I've seen this with women that I've worked with. So I know there are women out there that are secretly struggling in their success, but then feeling like a failure at home. And it's a misalignment that can really cost you, and it will cost you in health as well. The body starts to speak the misalignment. So you might be very emotionally self-aware. Most of the women I work with are very self-aware. They can go on and on about the personal growth lingo and the therapy speak and talk all about spirituality and all of that, but they still feel stuck in the cycle that they know it's holding them back. They know this. And I've spoken to women who are out of the relationship or they're in a separation and they've still got one foot in the relationship, wondering if it's really they need to walk away for good, and one foot in their new life. They've even been in a new place, living in a new place, in a separation. Some women have completely left the relationship, and by the time that I'm coaching them, I would almost say they seemed like they were still in it the way they were talking, because they still were mentally, emotionally, and energetically still there, even though they physically left. And they had goals for their business, their coaching career, their publishing career. They had goals for their education, but they're still mucking around in this nonsense. And so we have to break that. We have to break the addiction to that, and then rewire that in a new direction. Maybe you're not an entrepreneur or a career woman, and some women that are in this community are homemakers and they are not earning any money at all. And the only thing I can tell you with that is you've got to find a way. You've got to use your resources. If you have children at home and they're not school age, then is there someone in your life that you can have to take care of them while you are going to school or finding a job or 2 jobs or whatever you need to do? Is there someone that can help you? And then if your children are in school, then your full-time job while they're in school is finding a full-time job, and you put whatever money you need to do to put aside to get out. Build your wealth. If you have a business, put all your everything into building that up. You can do it. Anyone can do it, but it does take mentorship. It does take guidance. It takes being around people that have bigger ideas, that can see more. Like if you're around people that are just like, oh, I don't know what you're doing, dabbling in that, that's ridiculous. Or it might even be him that's trying to sabotage because they don't want you to succeed, because that means you will leave them. Then you've got to get in the room with other people that can cheer you on. I'm telling you, that is lifeblood. It is, especially when you're in something like this. And you may have family that tries to hold you back and talk negatively or small thinking. Believe me, this all it matters so much. And this is the beauty of the online space now that I love, is that, you know, all of the programs I've been in, they're not one-on-one personal. They're being, you know, online. So you're learning from these highly successful people, and you're learning on your own time, because as a busy woman, we don't necessarily want to have to show up to things in person. I know I don't. And then you have groups that you can go into as part of the programs, and you can get around other people that are expanding. There's really nothing stopping you except yourself here. So what I help women do is anchor in nervous system and emotional mastery so that they can actually go after the things that they want. We're breaking that emotionally addictive cycle and attachment trauma. And we're recalibrating your identity to match your level of ambition, to match your goals and the things that you say that you want to do. Is it moving into multiple 6 figures or more? Is it shifting careers and going for that promotion that would get you there? Is it going 100% all in on your business and maybe you just don't know the what and the how and all of that? It's also getting to that emotional detachment and neutrality, and then getting to that decision clarity, saying goodbye to the chaos and crazy making. You can't be in your power when that is going on, when you're giving your power to that. And then we need to look at the self-abandonment and the self-worth pieces and the self-love pieces around that. I know that you really just are feeling like you're shrinking yourself in this situation. And so you're trying to build up your success or build up what it is that you're doing, but the relationship just keeps you feeling shattered. So you're not able to actually show up on all cylinders where you need to. Now, I'm not all about like the work 10 hours a day. You have to take care of yourself too. So that's what I mean by building something that works with your vision. I've worked with women who have high-level careers that they secretly are like, I want something different. I want to do something more. I want to move into the healing or coaching field or the personal development field, something that's calling me because I've been through this journey and now something's calling me to want to help other women through this journey. So what does that look like? And it's hard to leap from one stable, predictable income to, I'm going to go jump over here. So, there's ways to do this, but it is possible. It is possible to build a life that works for you and works around your strengths and passions and obsessions. So for me, honestly, my obsession is personal development. It has been for decades. This isn't a new thing. It's why I got into the counseling field to begin with, was that exact thing. Is I've always wondered about why people do the things they do. Why do people act the way that they do? What would cause someone to act this way or that way? I was thinking that way as a kid. Like, I remember seeing a homeless person as a kid, and it struck me where I thought, what happened to that person? Like, where's his mom and dad? Like, what happened to his mom and dad that this homeless person is like, I think it was on the side of the highway or something, is in Vancouver as a kid. That's where I was born. And that stuck with me. So like, there's got to be something in you that you can think of that you were thinking of at a very early age. And maybe now that's awakening in you as you're looking at, what do I want for my life right now? What am I wanting to do? The one thing that really fires me up more than anything, and this is only because I have been there, is a woman that feels completely powerless because she's in a controlling relationship, doesn't have her own money or career. She's at home with kids, and she's with one of these men that is hyper controlling of the money. So she feels powerless to do anything with her life. And let me tell you, if you're listening to this and that's where you are, you have got to find it within you to move mountains, to build yourself up and out of that. And you can do it. I did it. You can do it. And through that journey of doing that, through putting a payment down on a course or a program, a multiple $1,000 course that at the time I didn't even have the money technically for the first payment, but I just was like, I need this. Like, I have to do this for future me. And it wasn't easy, but it all worked itself out to where shortly after that, I was able to just pay it off in full because it helped me get the confidence, the strategy, the clarity for where I was going. And it was effective. It paid off big time. But I had to do this scary thing that was like maxing out this credit card. Don't know how I'm going to pay for every one of these payments, but heart pounding, sweating. I did it. That was the largest investment I had ever made in a coaching program, but I did it, terrified. And it very much paid off. And I'm still in that community, still gleaning from that process, the wisdom from it. And so I share that not to say that, putting yourself in debt is a good idea, but there are times when you have to just do something when you know what you're doing is not working and you're drowning and you're like, I need a lifeline. I need to make this empowered decision for me and finding a way. Going back to school to get my counseling training, that was a massive investment and a very big risk. But it led me here. Doing that work, it didn't keep me in the therapy field because I realized that I was meant for more than just seeing people a few times a month in my office. I knew I had a bigger message and a bigger purpose than that. But now all of that I've learned has informed my methods and what I do. And when I work with women, I have that under my belt so that when you're working with me privately, you're getting a bit of the therapy wisdom and a bit of that work, but also coaching. So it moves you through the emotion, but it moves you also into action. It's got both. I blend both. I merge both. And that's why it's so effective. And then I have the personal experience to guide you. So if this is resonating with you and you are like, oh my God, yes, I need this kind of support because I need to get serious about this, about my money and my career and my business, then I invite you to apply to book a call with me. So you fill out a short application, and then if you are approved to the next level, we will send you a link to book a call. But that's only if I think through the application that you would be a good fit. And so if you'd like to move to that next level, you can click the link in the show notes to fill in that application, and then you'll get an email within 24 hours if you have been approved with the link to book in a call. But this is for women who are at a 6-figure level, or you do have the financial means to move into coaching and build up your business or do whatever the next thing is. You have to have the financial means to do that. And of course, you need to have the financial means to leave. So I can't really help you leave if you don't have even a job. So I've had to really be very clear on who my work is for through this. My private work, I should say. If you're in a place where you are not sure what to do and you still want the support and the lifeline around just the strategy for how to get clarity about whether you should stay or go, maybe while you're also working on your finances and getting work or building your business on the side, then I invite you to get on the waitlist for End the Cycle. I've got a new format coming out that I'm offering for women who want that, and I'm going to be sending out some info on that fairly soon. So you can head to the show notes here as well to click to add yourself to the waitlist, and I will be in touch with those next steps. These relationships impact a woman's ability to succeed, and we cannot, in this day and age where everything is at, women need to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. Even if you're in a relationship with a good person and they've got their own money and they're, you have a lot of good in the relationship, it doesn't matter because anything can end within years or whatever. Nothing is forever. And so you get into something with a quote unquote good person, good intentions, and then it doesn't work. And how do you leave? You don't have your own assets. You don't have your own money. You don't have your own credit score to be able to apply for a loan or a mortgage. You don't have like the credit rating or the financial income level to buy your own house or apartment or whatever it is. I really believe every woman needs to get to a place where she owns a property, a house, an apartment, something. You need assets. You need something. And one of the things that I teach with my clients who are on the other side is, even if you decide to move in with someone again, I don't recommend that when you have kids in tow. That's another side note. I'll be talking more about dating and my unfiltered real talk over on my She's Moving On podcast, by the way. That's where I talk more about that aspect. But just quickly before I wrap up is, because it ties into you getting to yourself to a place where you own something of your own property, is that then if you decide you're going to move in with someone down the road and it seems like a good choice and you've really vetted this person and you've had enough time in there to see who they really are and you decide that you want to do this, again, hopefully not with kids. I don't recommend it, but people will do it. But you still have your own property. So then you maybe rent it out. That would be like the best scenario, is to not put all your assets into joining and buying another house. But to rent it out instead while you do a trial of living with someone, because I've seen some pretty horrific things happen when unhealed women jump back into another emotionally addictive, toxic situation with a fuck up of a guy. And I mean this, like it makes me so angry to see this happen because it's the kids that pay. So you think you're getting into something different, but then you find out, no, you're not. So now you've got these kids mixed in this situation, maybe from both sides, or you're pregnant with another ours baby. An ours baby, yay, we have an ours baby and this newborn. Now I'm realizing he's an abusive asshole. And now I've got to get out of here with this kid we share and these other kids I brought into it. My God, that's to me, that's my biggest warning, like, don't do it. And this is the work that I do with women, is if you're looking at having that in your life again, there's nothing wrong with that. But you've got to do it smart. You've got to do it wise. You got to have standards up to the freaking moon. Honestly, you do. We have such low standards. We almost need to overcompensate and have them where others might say, oh, these are too high of standards. Well, maybe, but maybe that just means that you haven't found the right one, or they're not the right person. If you have these standards of things that you expect in a relationship, once you've been through hell and walked through hell, you're like, I don't want to put myself through hell again. So here's what I expect. Anyway, that went off on another side note, but I hope that you enjoyed this episode and that it spoke to you. And once again, you can apply to book a consult with me if you want to work with me one-on-one. That's the highest level, most customized way you can work with me on all of these bits, right? Because the coaching I do is quite holistic, and it's not just about relationships. It ends up being about the whole woman, hence the name, My Whole Woman Coaching. And then if you want to get on the waitlist to join my End the Cycle program to get clarity about whether to stay or go, then get on that waitlist and I'll be in touch soon. All right, take care.